Hello. Please state your name and your relationship to me.
I am Rabeca Birdwell. I am Chloe's mom.
Thank you. Perfect. So, I will be asking you a series of questions, kind of like an interview. And I wanted to know, what was your response? Do you remember that day when I came home from school and I told you I had hydroplaned that morning?
Yes, I do remember that.
Do you remember what your thought process was and what we talked about?
Yeah, I think I remember most of it. It was about, okay, tell me about it. How did you feel? How did you handle your car? What did you do to handle it?
Mm-hmm.
And kind of we talked through the process of what it felt like and how you handled it, and then what you should expect then when that happens the next time, so that you were able to recognize what was happening with your car and you knew what it felt like. I remember you said that you knew not to, put the brakes on, that you let your foot off of the brake to kind of ease on the speed. And I said, that was good. You did the right thing. That it was just important that you then knew what it felt like, how your car handled. So then that way, if you were to feel that again, you knew to slow down.
Okay.
And so I just I made sure that you felt good about it if you had any other questions or if you felt like you could do something different. And then that was the end that I remember.
Yeah. So, fast forwarding a bit. In the hospital, this is about to get kind of heavy.
Yeah, that's okay.
Describe how you felt when I spoke again for the first time.
So, actually, identifying maybe just one emotion would be too much. There was relief. There was, joy, and ultimately, it was. I cherished hearing your voice again.
Do you remember what I said?
So your dad was actually there for that, the first time. You were getting your hair washed, and he recorded it. And so it was just, you were just sighing. Um, and it was like, I remember it was 2 o'clock in the morning, and I was calling to check in because I had actually gone without sleep a couple of days and I was recuperating. And so, but yeah, he was there for that. But yeah, we celebrated for sure.
Wow. Well, that's nice. Um, did you ever have to remind me who you were to me? Or did I always know?
Um, Looking back, I believe that you recognized me and you knew who I was to you, but at that time, your mind wasn't healed to the point where your language was able to voice that you knew who I was. You were wanting to say one thing or express yourself in a way, but your mind was still healing from the brain shearing and trying to reconnect. That your language was still building. But I don't believe that there was a time that you didn't know who I was.
Okay. I've always wanted to know that and never asked.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
You
what?
you did absolutely 100% respond to my voice and your dad's voice. 100%. We knew that you responded to our voices.
Oh. Did I ever have to learn to read or write again? Or.
So, on your reading, I feel like that kind of happened to you in stages. You did have to relearn the alphabet.
Oh.
And then it was kind of like you would kind of heal in stages of what you were relearning, and it was kind of in stages of what connected your brain when. And so we would have flashcards to help you with your math, I would read out loud to trigger those words and that English and all those things that were there to help where your mind was wanting to reconnect from everything that was torn from the brain shearing. So I think we had to kind of reintroduce some information to you. And then from there, your mind took it from there, because we didn't know to what level you would know math. We didn't know if you were going to have to relearn your basic, 1+1. We introduced the 1+1, and then we quickly progressed from addition to multiplication to geometry to all of those things were still there for you. You didn't have to just completely relearn. And we thought maybe that might be something that we were looking into, was that we didn't know at what level you would be functioning. If you would need to start you off at 7th grade and test you, and then, of course, tutor you to get you to where you would learn that information. But we never did have to do that.
Thank God.
Yeah, I mean, by the time we got you to the right professionals that knew how to test you, and those specific skills, whether it be your English, your writing, your math, your comprehension, your social studies, just all those basic things up to what grade level. And I mean, you surprised pretty much every healthcare professional that was at any level of care that was associated with your injuries.
Yes. Do you know what it was, or would you describe what it was like for you to watch me kind of age up, as they would say? Like, was it sweet seeing your 6-year-old daughter again, or was it like, why is this happening?
I had done a lot of reading, so I understood that it was positive, in that we recreate for you as much security within that stage of where you were. And we were praying that you were continuing to heal. That we just hope that for your future, and that future would not be you being a 6-year-old Chloe in a 16, 17-year-old body that would continue to age, and you would still be 6 years old. If we were to have 6-year-old Chloe with us here, we would treasure her. But ultimately, we wanted to believe and pray that you would continue to heal, to have a life of your own.
And we're there. Well, what was your favorite memory of me in the hospital?
My favorite memory, I have to say, is that picture that we were looking at today. It's when you were healed enough and strong enough and mentally understanding who you were, what we were, and I was able to hold you. That was...
What age would you say I was in terms of my
You
mental capacity?
You were somewhere between 6 to 8. That's the reason why you were wrapped in that blanket. We brought that from home, and I sewed it and I washed it, because that blanket was a memory for you of something familiar that your mind could trigger memories and understanding to your childhood. And so that blanket was very important.
Well, I'm happy to hear it. You did really well. I'm happy I got to interview you. Thank you for being interviewed.
You're welcome.